Hello everybody, my name's Jonathan and welcome to Bearly Unboxed. So we are back with a custom video this time. I'm hoping to get this done as close to Christmas as I can, but I want to make a Sugar Plum Fairy out of a Monster High doll, hence the Monster High t-shirt. And the doll I will be using is this Draculaura. And I picked this up from my local Fred Meyer, and I think these are not the easiest dolls to find for some people, but in my area, I can just go to Fred Meyer and pick these up. These are like a budget Monster High doll. And the reason I picked this one is because I want to give her wings, and I don't want the upper chest articulation because I'm going to need to attach the wings to her torso, and I don't want that upper chest articulation getting in the way. And I think, other than that, she has all the other articulation that we love to see in dolls these days. The elbow, the wrist, the knee, everything, that makes it fun to pose. And that's what I want, is a Sugar Plum Fairy doll that I can pose and display for the holidays. So I sent this same doll to my bestie, and we call each other Beasties. And I asked her, because she's an artist too, her name is Hawthorne Lindsay Smith of the Silvermoor Bramble. She normally makes little creatures, and I have some of them here around my tree. Actually, most of the little creatures in this tree, other than this little white puffy guy, were made by her. And she makes some of the most amazing fantasy fairy creatures that I've ever seen. We've become very good friends. I love her dearly. And I asked her, will you make an outfit for my Sugar Plum Fairy? And she said yes. So she is going to use this one that I sent her, not this one, but the duplicate that I sent her, to make a Sugar Plum Fairy outfit, and then she's going to send it to me. Now, I actually, to get kind of like an idea of what I wanted to do for this, I watched the movie The Nutcracker and the Four Realms, which the Sugar Plum Fairy in that is very different than what you find in the book, but played by Keira Knightley. I think she's beautiful. So I got some ideas for that, and then I picked this up at the store. It was from Home Goods, had this, which also TJ Maxx and Marshalls might have it as well, because they're all the same store pretty much. But this is a Christmas classic collection, and I actually went through and I read The Nutcracker, and to my amazement, there is no Sugar Plum Fairy in this version, the original version by E.T.A. Hoffman. I will say this book is beautiful. The design of these is so beautiful. There's no illustrations. It's very short. It didn't take me long to read. And there's a couple other books in here as well. I've never read A Christmas Carol, so I'm going to read that this season as well if I have time. And then this just has a bunch of short stories in it, which is really cool. And this video will probably be coming out after my Beastie gets her Christmas gifts, and I actually sent her this same set of books because I thought she would enjoy it so much. But after I read that version and was like, why is there no Sugar Plum Fairy? I did some research and found that there's actually two versions of the Nutcracker. And this is one I picked up from Barnes & Noble, and it's a Barnes & Noble exclusive. It's beautiful. It's like a soft cover with gold pages, and you can see there's actually illustrations inside. Oh, I just lost my place. My bookmarker fell out. Let me put that back in. All right. Luckily, it kind of marked the page. But look at how beautiful this book is. So I'm actually in the process of reading this. I haven't finished it yet. But apparently the Sugar Plum Fairy is in this version, and it's kind of interesting. Alexander Dumas, or I think it's Alexander, was the author of The Three Musketeers and The Count of Monte Cristo, but he also wrote what was known as the history of the Nutcracker, and he kind of embellished it and made it a little more kid-friendly, and that's the version that was made into a ballet that is performed still to this day. So I'm really excited for this, to get to the part with the Sugar Plum Fairy. I hope there's illustrations of the fairy in here. That would be really cool. But yeah, so the other thing that I have, because there's something in this I need to customize for my Sugar Plum Fairy. This is another Draculaura doll, and this is one of the Skulltimate Secrets Guarded Mysteries. And I need this doll because I was looking for a pair of shoes that fit Draculaura. I didn't really want to have to make my own shoes. I had some shoes I thought would fit her from Barbie. They do not. Draculaura has larger feet. So there is a pair of shoes in here that I think will be perfect for my Sugar Plum Fairy. So we're actually going to do a quick review of this doll because I've never reviewed this on my channel. I have reviewed this doll on my channel before, so I'm not going to review her. I'm going to open her up later when I'm actually starting the project. But here is the barcode for this one, and this one might be harder to find now. This is an older doll, and I'm actually excited for this doll, despite the hair quality I've heard is atrocious. It's polypropylene, because of course it is. So let's just get into this, because I want to get moving and get working on my custom. I'm really excited. I made a custom for Halloween of a Monster High doll. The first time I've ever customized a Monster High doll from G3. I've customized a G1 doll a long time ago. And that was also a fairy. And, you know, I might show some pictures of her while I'm opening this, because I don't know if I've ever showed her on my channel, because I made her years ago before I even had a channel. So this is the Garden Mysteries Draculaura, and it does come with a key, luckily. I've had one of these not come with a key, and that made it really difficult to open the doors. I had to dig out another key from a previous Skulltimate Secret, and luckily the keys are all pretty much the same. I actually really like these style of Skulltimate Secret cases, but they're already changing them for the Gorgeous Oasis, which I did have a video that I did, a couple videos for those. Alright, so I'm gonna kind of speed through this because I just want these shoes, but I am gonna give you my honest opinion of this Draculaura doll. Draculaura has so many versions in G3, and I'm probably also G1, really, and G2. I don't know much about G2 though. But here's the instructions for this Draculaura doll. You're supposed to use the key on these to see the different clues, which you can still see them without it. It's kind of weird, you know. I've mentioned that before. Alright, so I am actually going to open both doors. I usually do them one at a time, but like I said, I want to kind of get through this. There's going to be 4 bags. Alright, we'll close these back up for now. These are what her bags look like, and all 4 of them are the same. They have like a bat design on it. It looks kind of like a stained glass window. That is really cool. I think this is cloth goods, so we'll open that last. Alright, so let's see what we have in here. Alright, so we got a bag. Let me open that real quick. here is her bag, and that is really cute. I love the paint detail on this. And it does open, I think, yes. And it even has detail on the inside. That is pretty amazing. That's a great bag. And then you get a little pair of tongs. And I just threw them at the camera. Little pair of tongs and a pair of earrings, which are very light pink and translucent. Those are really cute. And here is this first piece that we need to build a lever to lift the doll out of here. That's what they show you in the little hidden things in that. So, all right, moving on. What do we got in here? All right, so these are like a tea party in the garden kind of a doll theme for the three dolls that were in this: Twyla, Draculaura, and Venus. Draculaura comes with these little rose cupcakes, and the one in the middle has little teeth. Those are really cute. And there's even a little cake stand that they're on. And they come off, but they're not separate. So, but look at the detail on this. They put tons of detail on spots where they probably didn't need to. Now, this little bar goes up here. So that gives you a little bar to hang hangers on. There should be some hangers somewhere in this. Oh, and there's one more piece I forgot was in here. Oh. Is this little piece right here of a flower with her lips on it. And that just goes right in there like that. Okay, that pack had this piece, which is the last piece for the lever. And that is so we can get the doll to reveal out the top here. So this just clicks in the bottom here. Wow, that was loud. So that clicks in there so we can lift her up. But before we do that, we will look at the rest of everything. So there, the hangers I didn't put in here. I'll show you what those look like real quick. They have little skelettes on them, and those just go right in here. And you can hang extra clothes on them. And then she also comes with a little teacup, which is really cute. And it has a little like heart and like steam coming out. It's very cute. And she can definitely hold that. And then there's the clip, and that has the little heart peg. And you peg that in here so you can use that as a doll stand, which I really appreciate about this case. I think it's really cool. And then you can also hang these on the wall right here. They have these two spots where you can hang them on like something like a nail or a screw or a tack or something. They aren't too heavy, so they might work on a tack. I don't know. All right. Now, the last thing we have is this piece of this giant bag, I should say. And here are the shoes that I wanted for when we customize the other doll. You also get an extra outfit in here. So there is these pieces, which are really, really pretty, actually. I like this one. It has a ribbon on it. And then this one has like lace on it, which is really pretty. And it's like a corset. And then you also get this really pretty soft skirt. I really like that. All right, so these boots. These are the whole reason I wanted to open this. And I thought about opening this just on my own. But I was like, I've opened all the other Garden Mysteries on my channel. So I wanted to open these on here. Now, these do have spiderweb detail on them. But I am going to paint these more of a purple color. And fairies and spiderwebs are kind of a thing. Like, it just feels very fairy-like. So, and it has hearts on it. There's kind of a bat wing on the back here, but I don't think that will matter because you're only really going to see it from the front. But I thought the bows were really cute on these. I think these are just going to be perfect for a Sugar Plum Fairy. I cannot wait to paint these and see what they look like when they're painted. All right, so last thing we have is the reveal of this doll. All right. And there she is. Oh, I do this almost every time. I put that in and then she won't come up all the way. So I swear it's supposed to come up further. Oh no, I guess that's as much as it does. Wow, she has a beautiful face. I'm actually kind of shocked by that. We seem to be missing a piece though. Unless it's in here. All right, so let me get her out of here and then we will take a look. Here is this Draculaura, and she's probably one of the prettiest Skulltimate Secrets Draculauras that I've ever seen. I do think Gorgeous Oasis is much prettier, and she also has saran hair. This one does have polypropylene hair, and you can tell just the way it falls, the way it feels. It's kind of puffy, but I do appreciate the way they styled it with the bangs pulled back and they're like secured in the back to her hair. She has a really cute outfit. It has like little flowers on it, and she has this little plastic corset. She has these like leggings and these really cute shoes. And I think the shoes are actually pretty nice. And I'm glad because I am going to be stealing her other pair of shoes. So, all right. And because this is more of a custom video than just a review video, I am going to put her outfit on so that we can take a look real quick, because the photos at the end are mainly going to be the custom doll. Okay, there she is with her earrings. Very, very cute. I love these earrings, actually. All right, now this clip goes inside here, and that is so you can put the doll back in here to store it. If I can get this in. Wow, it really doesn't want to go in. Okay, so you put that in there, and then you can put the doll in, and it holds the doll in place. So I really appreciate that. Okay, so let's get her second outfit on. I am going to put these shoes on her because I want to see what she looks like with them before I steal them for my custom. Here's what she looks like without the corset on, and this dress is so pretty. It has little bats on it. It's so cute. This is one of my favorite Draculaura outfits I think I've seen, is just this dress. Oh wow, when you undo the Velcro, it fits her, like it looks wider, and I kind of wish the dress looked like that. I wish it was really poofy. That's really cute like that. Okay, let me get this outfit on her. She does have removable hands because that's the best way to get the clothes on. And this doll has the upper chest articulation. This is what I was talking about. I didn't want for my custom because I'm going to be attaching wings up here. And if I do that, it might interfere with the articulation. And I'm also kind of glad I'm not customizing this one because this one has such a beautiful face that I would feel really bad. This doll here, her lips are actually printed crooked, and I picked her out specifically because I figured I'm going to be redoing her face anyway, and so why not just start with one that, you know, its face is already kind of wonky. So I don't feel too bad, you know, redoing her face makeup. Okay, this shirt, this second outfit shirt is like everything. Okay, let me get this skirt on her. Wow, yeah, this second outfit is gorgeous. I love this top, and I love the little black bows on this. There's bows everywhere. And then you do get this cloth corset. Here she is with that second outfit on, and there's what the boots look like. They are a little wonky because of just being the way they were packed, especially this one. I might... Let me see if I can fix that. Oh, there we go. It was just it was kind of pushed over. I really love the hearts on those. I think they look so cute. And the corset looks great. And then, of course, she can hold all these items that she gets because she does have little thumb hole. So she can hold the little tongs to get her cupcake. And then she can, of course, hold her bag. So there she is holding her bag. Very cute. And she can even hold the teacup. There we go. She's got her little teacup. That is a really, really cute doll. And then, of course, you can put her on this holder. And you can peg her to the doll stand like that. That is great. I actually love this doll. I think this doll, I kind of feel bad that she got kind of a quick review, but if you can still find her, I recommend this doll. Despite the hair quality, the face is so well done, and these outfits, even if you just get it for the outfits for a different Draculaura doll, I love it. Okay, so now that we got her out of the packaging and I can steal her boots, we can get started on the Sugar Plum doll. I am so excited to start this and get it finished for the holidays. Hopefully I get it done in time for at least before New Year's. All right, so let's get to the customizing. First step to make this custom, we obviously need to get the doll out of the box. So we're just going to do that really quickly. And since I've already reviewed this doll in a previous video, I'm not going to really show it off much. So the link to that video where I do review her and the other dolls in this line will be in the iCards. So if you haven't seen that and you want to see that, go check that out. But do it at the end of the video. I would love for you to stay and see this custom come to life. So we just gotta undress her, and now I have an extra outfit for a Draculaura doll, or extra outfit pieces for a future custom. So that's always fun to have extra pieces of dolls that you customize. So first of all, we got to get her head off of her body, and the way I do it is a hairdryer. Some people will dunk the doll into like boiling water, but I hate dealing with boiling water. I hate dealing with just it being wet for one thing and being really hot, and it's really easy to burn yourself. So I just use a hairdryer, and it works just fine, as you can see. So now I am going to cut off these little like teeth that the neck peg has. I pretty much do that for every custom because then it makes it so easy to put the head back on and take it off if I need to for any reason. In fact, I kind of show that right now. You still want to warm the head up because that will help it just pop right off. But yes, so easy. So I am going to tie her hair up to make it easier to cut it off so it doesn't just go everywhere when I do cut it. And like I said earlier, I think this doll has such a wonky lip on her that I am so excited to give her a new face and see what she looks like. But first, we do have to reroot her hair. And originally, I was going to order some, I think it was curly saran hair. from Doll Planet, and it was not quite as curly as my last custom that I did for Halloween. It was a little more relaxed, and I've never used that kind, and I kind of wanted to try a different kind, but in the essence of saving money and being a little frugal, especially around the holidays, I ended up just looking to see what I have in my little stock box of hair. So once you get the hair all cut off, I just use a flathead screwdriver that fits up inside the neck, and then you just scrape all the hair out. And honestly, this is such a satisfying experience. Now, getting the hair out of there is always kind of a pain in the butt, but you'll see here eventually I actually use some different tweezers to get it all out, because I was having such a hard time, and I asked my partner if he had anything. I was actually showing the top of the head right there where the part line is, because I decided I'm not giving this doll her part line, just to make it easier on me to reroute her, but also because I'm planning on giving her a hairstyle that does not need a part line. So, all right, so now we just got to remove her face, and I am using 100% acetone for this. And I will warn you, only use this on the head, because the head is vinyl. The body is a different type of plastic, so if there's any marks on the body that you want to remove, I would recommend using a acetone-free nail polish remover, and even then, be very careful. There is a point in the video where I do remove some like letters and numbers that are printed on her body, and just, I don't even know why I'm talking about it now, because it's not for a while, but I just make sure I do it really quickly so it doesn't damage the plastic as much. But basically, you just want to clean up and get all the paint off that you can. If you don't get it all off the face, especially like in the corners of the eyes, I think there was a little bit, you're going to paint over it. So it's not a big deal. So these are the hair colors I'm using, and these I had, I think this is nylon. I know the pink is nylon because it was left over from a My Little Pony that I needed to give a tail, I think, to, if I remember right. And I had a bunch left, and I thought, okay, I might as well use it for this. Now, the purple is something I bought a long time ago, and I cannot even remember why I bought it. So I decided we're going to use it for this project. And I'm just painting her hair. Sorry that the video was out of focus there, but I'm just painting her hairline, her scalp, so that when the purple is put in, because it's going to be mostly purple with only some pink like in the front, is my kind of vision for this doll. So I just want to make sure that the pink scalp doesn't show through. And again, I love how I'm just not paying attention to it being out of focus. But that's okay. You get the gist of what I am doing here. And that is just painting the scalp. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but definitely don't go past the outside plugs for the hair. So there is actually some people who will paint the scalp, all the different colors of hair that they're going to be using. And it doesn't make sense for this doll, but if I ever do that, where I have like maybe half of the hair is one color and the other half is a different color, like a split dye, I definitely would paint each side the color of the hair. So now I just need to let that dry after I clean it up. And I just use these amazing Q-tips that I found that are double-ended, and one end is really pointy, so perfect for cleaning up paint. So now we're just going to start rerouting, and I have two tools. This one here is just a needle, and I use this one to kind of open up some of the holes that look like maybe the paint kind of dried in them. And I don't do the whole head, but I do a little bit. And then I always cut the hair in half if it isn't already cut in half, which most of the time when you get these hanks of hair, as they're called, you'll need to cut them in half or it's just way too long. Now I am misting these a little bit just to make the hair kind of clump together better. It works for the most part, but later on in the rerouting, I realized that this hair is really good at just clumping together on its own. So I kind of stopped using the water. But if hair ever gets like crazy, you cannot get it like to clump together into strands, then use some water. And this rerouting tool I'm using is actually an X-Acto knife, because the other tool, it kept just not working. The needle kept getting pushed down into the tool, and that so far has never happened with this X-Acto knife. And I actually made my own rerouting needle by just getting a regular sewing needle and cutting the eyelet off at an angle. And I didn't do that on camera because I've actually been using this same needle for the past two reroutes, and I'll let you know it made it all the way through this reroute too, and that's impressive to me because I used to break needles so often, and I think it was because I was using too much hair per plug. So I tried to really hold back on this reroute by only using just what I needed, and it worked out so well. So now we have the entire perimeter done, and I am just filling it in one like ring at a time, basically. And when I get to that part line, I'm going to ignore it. I'm just going to only do the holes that are like the rings around the top of the head. Like right there, I'm saying, no, I'm not going to do that part line. I did a part line on my Frankie Pride reroute, and it was not as easy, or it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. So I actually used that whole first pack of the purple hair, and so I had to open up my second pack. And I really wish I could remember where I picked up this hair from. I don't think it was Doll Planet because it doesn't have their label on it, and I don't know if it was dollyhair.com either. I've had it for so long I just cannot remember. So now we are closing in on her hair, and I'm doing the last few plugs, and that is such a great feeling when you get done. I actually did most of this reroute in one sitting after doing the perimeter of her head with the pink or in the front and then the purple all the way around the back. And then I just hunkered down for a weekend on one day and did that. And I was glad I did because I really wanted to get to the face up. So I'm using Fabri-Tac glue, and I actually put in a ton of glue because I really don't want that hair to fall out. I don't want it to budge. I am not editing this at all, so you can see just exactly how much glue I decide to put in there. I probably could have even put more in. In fact, I think off camera I go in and put more glue in if I remember right. There was a few things I did off camera for this custom, but now I'm just using one of my Q-tips to spread that glue around, and you want to make sure you get it on all the hair on the inside. So now the hair has dried for like a day or two. I think it's actually only been like 24 hours, which is long enough. It's now waterproof. It should hold it. But I actually don't wash her hair until the very end after I do her face up. But I do trim her hair up after brushing out any stray hairs. I just kind of want to clean it up so that when I do the hairstyle later, I don't have to worry about that. But look at that. I think it's so pretty. So this brush right here, this is a liner brush. It is just amazing. I am so glad that I picked it up. It makes me feel like I'm an amazing artist, whether I am or not. But I just feel like it's so good at fine detail. And then the other two brushes, I don't know what size they are. They're just random ones that I already had. So I am actually using a lot of paints that I already had mixed up because I kind of have like a few colors that are just my favorite colors. And this purple is one of them. And I am going to paint her underwear because if you see her underwear when she has her outfit on, later it'll be purple, so it won't be so obvious that you're looking at her butt. But I do like a wash on this because I really wanted it to kind of only fill in the little crevices and kind of leave the webbing a lighter color. And when you see it dry later on, it just looks so good. So now I'm just using that same paint for her hands, for her nails. And you'll notice here, I'm kind of like pushing my pinky on my right hand onto my left hand as I'm painting. And that helps me steady the brush. And I don't know if there's anyone out there that gets a little shaky when painting, especially fine details. I recommend that you brace your hand against your other hand because it works so well, and then you don't mess it up as much. But yeah, I'm just painting her nails, and then I am gonna give them a gloss coat after I'm done to protect the paint, because these are all, I don't know if I mentioned, but these are all acrylic paints. I tend to use two different brands. I like the Basics brand of paint. I'm trying to remember, is it... Oh, okay. I cannot remember the actual name, but I think I show them here eventually, so you'll see the brand then. But I also use Model Masters in these little jars that are for model paint. For basically painting models in miniatures, but they make an acrylic, and they're kind of hard to find, but I think they're amazing because they come ready to use right out of the jar. Unlike these paints. Oh, these are Liquitex Basics. That's the brand. I love them, but they're a little thick and you'll have to water them down. And I started using this, it's kind of like a medium that you add to acrylic paint to help it flow better, and it's called a Flow Aid, and it's also from Liquitex if I remember right. I think I show that at some point. Yeah, it's right here. So this is the Liquitex acrylic Flow Aid, and I believe it's meant to be used for like acrylic paints that you're using in an airbrush or something so it flows better. But someone recommended this on Reddit for customizers. Someone was asking, how do you get the paint to flow better and not clump up? And they recommended that. And I just add one tiny little drop to every paint color that I'm mixing up. And then you do have to add a little bit of water too. And it works like a charm. It just flows on so well. So I'm actually painting her accessories, and all of these accessories are from a Barbie like fairy set that I got at Dollar Tree. I don't know if they still sell them, but they did have them for the longest time at Dollar Tree. This was back when they were only $1. I think they're $1.25 now. But this crown and the wand both came from the same set. And I've always wanted to paint one of the wands and one of the crowns, and this gave me a great opportunity to try it for a Sugar Plum Fairy. So this is another brand I love. This is Folk Art, and it's called Dragon's Glaze or something like. It's like this. It looks white, but it dries crystal clear, and it is filled with glitter. And the glitter in this one is a kind of a rainbow shift from green and blue and purple. And I thought that would be perfect for a Sugar Plum Fairy. My idea is that she has accessories that kind of look like candy. And I had some Barbie fairy slippers that had little candies on them, but unfortunately they did not fit on Draculaura. So that's why I had to open up that Skulltimate Secrets to get the shoes out of it. Now these earrings are actually from a Barbie advent calendar that I got a few years ago, and I rated my Barbie accessories to do this doll. So I do end up adding that glitter glaze to everything, including her nails, because it works as a sealant, as a glaze or a gloss, basically. And I put it on almost every accessory. I think every accessory of hers has it on it somewhere. And then her nails, and later on you will see that I use it on her face as well. So I just love it. I have different versions of it, and that one's my favorite though, that green, blue, purple. Yes, so here I'm using the Liquitex Basics to mix up some color for her lips. I wanted to give her kind of a more of a darker pink, so I'm actually mixing up both a purple and a pink together to get the color I want. And again, we're using the Flow Aid in everything except the glaze. I didn't use it in the glaze, and I should probably try it, test it out on something and see if that works. So I'm using this pink as her lip color. I wanted a darker pink for her lip color, not so that it stood out against her pink skin. And I love painting the lips on a doll because I find it to be the easiest part to do. I do switch over to my liner brush because it's absolutely amazing at getting like the points on the lips and the points in the corners of the lips. And so there you have it. There's her lips. I do a couple coats on them after this one dries, and a lot of this I do off camera, so otherwise this video would be so long because I tend not to speed it up. Some customizers speed up the footage and you get to see the whole thing, but for some reason I always find that kind of annoying in some ways. I don't know, because it's so fast you can't really like see what they're doing a lot of the times. I just edit my videos heavily and hope that I show exactly what you might need if you want to try this at home. So I am giving her eye color. Her white in her eyes has a slight pink hue to it because I want kind of everything to be pink on this doll. It's kind of hard to tell on camera because her skin is so pink and then the paint is more white. But it does have, my water that I'm using has so much pink in it that it tinted it basically, and I wanted it to. I purposely did not get clean water when I went to do her whites of her eyes. So now I am using another favorite of mine. This is Color Shift paint, and all of them have like kind of a shift from one color to another, and this one is like purple and kind of like a blue color, and you can even mix it in with regular paint and it still will have that like shift to it. And that's what I used for the irises in her eyes. And I gotta say, like, they turned out really, like the eye color turned out really nice. I think it just looks so good with the pink and the purple. I think pink and purple are such a beautiful combination. The only thing I probably could have changed about this doll, and it would have made it even like so much better, is to add teal, because I absolutely love teal, pink, and purple together. But I tried to keep it a little more simple and just leave it pinks and purples. So I'm going back to the wand and painting the handle so it's a little darker. And here are the shoes, and the best way to paint shoes is just to put them on the end of a bigger brush so you don't have to hold it. It makes it so easy. And on these shoes, I'm just giving some purple tint to the bottoms of the heels of the shoe. And I'm trying not to like be so concerned about full coverage, because I kind of like the way it looks when it looks more like a wash. I think it just looks really cool that way. So now I am going back and doing her eye makeup. I do these in steps. Like I'll paint on the face, and then while that's drying, I go and paint something else that I'm working on for the project. And I think it works really well. I don't know if that's how other people work. I don't know if they just work on one thing and they keep working on that one thing. But I try to maximize my time by just, going back and forth. So I'm giving her like a pink eyeshadow, and it's the same pink that I pretty much used on her eyes, but I am going to put that dragon glaze on her eyeshadow, and it kind of changes the way the color looks. So you can kind of get away with using the same colors if you're putting a glaze on top of them. Now for her eye pupils, I am using my black Model Masters paint, which I forgot to show. It's kind of off camera. You can see it at the top. It's just sitting up there. But they are the most amazing acrylic paints for customizing, I think, because they're so easy to use right out of the jar. And I only have a select few, and I need to get some other colors, but I need to get a white one, definitely. But the black is so perfect, especially for when you're doing like the eyelashes, which you will see here coming up. So now I'm just going through and giving her eyes some highlights, and I think it kind of does hide the color shift a bit, but not too much. The highlights, I think, are so important for the eyes. I am trying to make her eyes look like as close as possible to an actual Monster High doll. That's kind of like what I like when I see other people do customizations of Monster High dolls. I always think it's so cool when they can replicate the same style. So now I'm using that Model Masters paint to give her eyes her outlines, and then her eyelashes. So if you maybe you've been sitting here thinking her eyes are a little bug-eyed, it's because I always planned to use the black eyeliner to also go over top of the eyes, which you will see me do right here. And it really kind of brings the eye out. Look at that. I'm so amazed at how well that looks when you do that. So I always turn the head different ways to get the right angle. Now, the eye I already did was so perfect, and it took me, I think, like 4 tries to get this side right. I kept basically erasing the black paint because it wasn't quite dry yet, so I was able to use some water and the Q-tip. But I finally got it, and you may notice I forgot to give her eyelashes on the bottom on this eye that you're looking at, and I gave them to the other one. And eventually I realized it. So if you're freaking out, if you're thinking, oh my gosh, she forgot to give her eyelashes, don't worry, I fix it. Now, I always go in with like a kind of a grayish color on the top of the eye to give it sort of a 3-dimensional look. And then I always give the eyes like a glare to make it look like the light is shining in them. And I think that really makes the irises pop. I think it's so beautiful. And then I have this stylus tool that I use for so many different things. It works so well at giving the little shine in the eye. If you're just doing a round shine, you know. A lot of Monster High dolls do have intricate shines in their eye that kind of like match their personality or something about them. But I haven't quite unlocked that ability yet. So maybe on my next custom, I'll try to do something like that. But basically the only thing left now is to give her eyebrows. And I'm just using the same paint that I basically used for her scalp. But I mixed up some of the I think it was not the color shift, but it was a different shade of purple than I used completely on her scalp. So it kind of matches it a little bit, but it's a little different. That was probably confusing the way I worded that, but I hope you understand what I meant. So now I'm just going in and putting the that glitter dragon gloss on her eyelids and her lips. And I decided I was going to try to give her some blush using a sponge. So I have these lovely sponges that work so well for blushing. I've done it on my own things that I've sculpted, my own creatures that I like to sculpt. So I tried it on a doll, and it actually works pretty well. It took a little bit of effort to get that level of pink that I wanted, and then I do off camera give some to her ears, more so than what you see on camera, because it wasn't quite what I wanted. I think I actually went in and gave some to her nose as well. And I can't remember if I actually do that on camera. So maybe you'll see it here, maybe you won't. That's the fun thing about voiceover, is sometimes even I'm like, what did I do here? But she's pretty much done. But right now is when I noticed that I forgot those black lashes on the bottom of the eye. So I just go in, and I think it took me a couple tries to get them right. But once I got it, I think she just looks so good. And then once that paint dries, like for a few hours to overnight, I end up will go in with a gloss, and here they are with the gloss. I usually use a matte finish like I did on her eyebrows, but I decided to give her eyes gloss this time. I did have to pierce her ears, and I did that off camera because it took a while for the holes to allow me to put those earrings in, and it was kind of frustrating. And I washed her hair. I styled it in just a simple high pony. And to get her crown to stay on, I am going to glue a pin to this tiara so that I can just push the pin down into her, the top of her head. I've seen other customizers do this with their dolls. And so I thought, you know what, I'll try it. So here is the amazing outfit that my Beastie made for me that I asked her to make. And she sent it with some other things that she had for me for Christmas. She's the most amazing best friend. And so this was so fun to take apart the ribbon and see what it looks like. Now, she made these in the same style that she makes all the clothes for her own creatures, her own poppets, as she calls them. And you saw some of those earlier in the video. She loves making all her own clothing out of like found fabric. Like the socks are made from, I believe it was a onesie, a baby onesie that she got at a thrift shop. But yeah, so these clothes are very rustic looking, and that is the intention. They're supposed to look like something that a fairy would make, and I think that is so much fun. Now, I am going to give her wings because you have to give a Sugar Plum Fairy wings. You can't just not give them wings. And I love making wings. I have made wings in the past for other dolls that I have made. And then I am using a Dremel tool that I borrowed from my partner. I actually don't have one of my own. I don't use it very often, but it worked so well for this. I've done this on another doll, and I just marked with a marker where I want the holes because I do want these wings to be attached. They're not going to be removable because I want them to be able to be posable, but part of the doll. And so that is the best way to do it, I think, is to just glue the wings into the back of the doll. And this is the reason I didn't want a Draculaura doll that had that upper torso articulation, because I didn't want the wings to interfere with that articulation if I'm gluing them. So I'm using this Angelina film and this thin jewelry wire to make wings. Now, this is actually, I think, the first time I've ever made wings like this using this thin jewelry wire. I may have used it in the past. It's been so long. But I will say the end result using this thinner wire, because I usually use a thicker wire, was so perfect that this is probably how I will make wings going forward for anything. Because, spoiler alert, I'm going to be making more fairy dolls out of Monster High dolls because I had absolutely the best time making this custom. And I really hope you're enjoying seeing all the process of making this. If you are, please do like the video because that really helps the algorithm. It helps other people see the video. So also comment. I love hearing from you. So this Angelina film, I have a ton of this from past projects, but this specific color I actually never used. I bought it, I think, for another project and ended up using some that I already had because the color kind of seemed better. Now, the color on this one is kind of greenish yellow because it is called, I think, like green lightning or green flash. and it's got a pink purple hue to it. Now, you will notice that once the wings are made, the color changes drastically because of this glue. The Fabri-Tac glue, it kind of makes like a diffraction. Is that the right word? It diffracts the light. So I just fold that over to get the glue to kind of smush down where I want it. And then I open it back up and I put more glue on the inside so that it really holds the two sides together. And it doesn't have to be perfect, as you see here. I kind of like didn't put a lot of glue on that wing. But it just has to be in there enough so that when you fold it back over, it kind of smushes all that glue down and holds it into place. And you start to see the color of the wings right here is really kind of changing because of the way the glue looks in there. So now I just cut these out while the glue is still wet. I don't cut it too close to the wire because I want that glue to really kind of hold. And then once I cut all 4 of these out of the film, I just let them dry overnight. Now, I actually learned this method of wing making from my Beastie, who made the outfit, because she does make a lot of fairies and sprites and pixies that have wings. Fairy queens. And so this was a method that I learned from her, and I hope that you can see just how amazing these look. I think they just look so cool. That the glue, as it dries, it really changes the color, and I was kind of hoping that the green wouldn't be so prominent, and I was right. And because I had a feeling that it would diffract it in a different way. So now you're seeing me light a candle and you're like, what is going on? So this Angelina film is meant to be heated up, and it kind of like shrinks. It's like shrink wrap. It kind of shrinks onto itself. Now you do have to be very careful because the glue is flammable, and then you just saw it catch on fire. But it's usually not too bad. You can just shake it and the flame will go out, or you can blow it and the flame will go out. So it's really not a big deal. But do be careful. I can't stress enough. Just be very careful if you're going to try this at home. If you are a kid, definitely have your parents help you with this part if you're trying to make wings like this. Now, you will see sometimes if it gets too hot in one spot, it'll make a hole. So I went through and tried to make matching holes on all 4 wings so that they looked more like cohesive. And now I'm actually going to go in with some more film. And this is just the same. Actually, I think this is a different color because it's not as green. I think this is the amethyst color. I can't recall if it's the same that I used or not. It does look a little yellow and greenish, so it might be. I have so many different colors of these, and they often look the same to me until you like start working with them. Like now these wings look totally different. So I'm just cutting out 4 little circles that I can glue to the wings where the holes are, and then I'm going to heat it up again and be very careful about heating it up because I don't want those holes to reappear, basically. And I think this gives the wings so much character when they have holes in them, but I kind of wanted this doll to not have the holes in the wings, so that's why I went back in and fixed them with this extra pieces. And you can see I'm doing it really quickly. I'm trying not to get it to catch on fire again. And that was a Brian Froud candle, just in case you're wondering. I've had those forever. Brian Froud is an amazing fairy artist, and if you don't know who he is, look him up. So now I'm just going to twist these wings together so that I can insert them into the back, and just one bigger wing and one smaller wing so that it looks like a full butterfly type wing. And I am so happy with how these turned out. But to amp them up even more, I am using, yet again, that dragon glaze, or I think, is it dragon glaze or dragonfly glaze? I should have been paying attention while I was watching this, doing the commentary. But it's made by Folk Art, so if you can find Folk Art, that's where you can get this. And so now I did do that glaze on both sides of both wings. I let it dry. Here's what they look like. And I'm just going to insert the wire into these and then put the glue on, because I tried doing it by putting the glue in and then pushing the wing in, but the glue kept drying way too quickly for me to even get the wing to go in. So I did it this way, and I actually secured it on both sides. I don't think I show that in the video, but I bend the wings the other way and I put hot glue on the other side of where the hole is, just to be safe. And hot glue isn't like a perfect thing for this. I probably should have used maybe some sort of super glue, but I will say so far I've been able to move the wings and pose them, and I haven't had any issues. I present to you the Sugar Plum Fairy. So here she is. I am so happy with how this turned out. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm actually really impressed with how well the face turned out. I think she looks very much like a Monster High doll, and that's kind of what I've been trying to go for with my customs, because I did one for Halloween. And I wanted to stick with the style of face that Monster High has, but kind of in more of my own style. And she makes me so happy. I can't stop smiling every time I look at her. And the fact that she's a collaboration between me and one of my best friends, it means the world to me. So she will not be for sale, in case anyone was wondering. She will be staying here with me because she's so gorgeous. I was really happy with how the hair turned out too. I don't know if I mentioned earlier during the footage, but I tried a different method where I didn't use as much hair per plug as I'm used to using, and I think it works so much better that way because less is definitely more. Her hair isn't like heavy, it isn't weighing her down. When I rerouted a Frankie doll for Pride earlier this year, in June, I used way too much hair on her, and I'm lucky her head didn't split. But she's so top heavy because of how much hair she has, and this one isn't, and I think that's awesome. And I love her wings. Her wings are actually posable to some degree. They're on wire, so you can move them around. You can, kind of put them down. So like when she's just standing around and not using her wings to fly, and then when she's flying, you can put them up. And this outfit my Beastie made is so perfect. It's so rustic, like her style is for all her own creations. And speaking of, I've had them on my desk throughout all my holiday videos. But she made this for me for Christmas. And his name is Jonathan. And I will spell that out on the screen. It's not the same spelling as my name. It's like if a little kid was saying my name, basically. And he is so cute. And he even goes with the Sugar Plum Fairy. Now, her name, I've been trying to think of a name for her, and I decided to pay homage to the original Nutcracker book, which didn't really even have the Sugar Plum Fairy in it. But it's the whole reason we even have this character. In the newer, updated version that came out years later. Her name is Pflaume, which means plum in German, because the original author, E.T.A. Hoffmann, which, I have the books right here. Let me grab them. So the original author of the Nutcracker, E.T.A. Hoffmann, which I showed these earlier in the video, but I'm going to bring them out again. This was his original story, and he was German, so her name is going to be Pflaume, and I think that is such a cool name for her. And she showed up in the Alexander Dumas version. Here she is. She's beautiful. I love her so much. I just think she came together so well, and I would love to hear your thoughts on her. So please do leave a comment down below. And the fact that she's still posable like a doll makes it even better, because you can get some really cute poses with her, some really sweet poses. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see more customs in the coming year. This is my last video of 2025. And I would love to continue doing customs. My last custom, she's actually been on my desk because I love her so much, was this Halloween Venus, who's basically a goblin. And I loved creating her so much. She's just been hanging out here with my Christmas tree on my desk, actually. And I loved creating this doll as well. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do more. I'd love to do a full-on custom with a Frankie doll and create a whole new character with that character. So yeah, let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you liked this video, please do give it a like, give it a hype, share it with anyone you think would like to see it. Also, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and hit that bell for notifications if you want to see more content like this. I do have a Christmas haul video coming out of what I did get for Christmas. So take care out there. Happy holidays. Have a wonderful new year. Love you guys. Bye. A special shout out to all my members. Thank you guys so much. Also, thank you to all my subscribers, new and old. Without you, these videos would not be possible. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.